AI feet pics, sassy grandma influencers, children's books you didn't write. Here's how people are actually making money with AI right now. So I've been seeing a bunch of podcasts people are doing. Look at the crazy stuff happening with AI right now, right? I'm sure you saw the story. I actually think it was down your way, where a gentleman used AI to create his own mRNA vaccine to cure his dog's cancer. That's wild stuff, and I'm sure we could go down that rabbit hole if we wanted to go down that rabbit hole. But let's face it, John, you and I aren't making vaccines anytime soon. So I wanted to collect some things that I've been seeing that felt more along the lines of this podcast. Not, hey, look at these cool cutting edge things with AI. Just look at these weird ways people are making money with AI. All right, so I have a friend. I'm not going to say who she is, but she does a little bit of the OnlyFans on the side. So apparently her followers are big into the feet stuff. John, are you a feet guy?
Not particularly. Nothing against feet, but it's not doing anything extra for me. That's for sure.
Well, it is for a lot of people apparently, right? There are literally a bunch of websites built around this. Feet Finder, Footly. Fun with Feet was another one that I found. Sounds like people are making pretty decent money. So I actually stumbled on this one in a thread on X, and it was like, hey, I'm in a Telegram group with a bunch of dudes who are making a ton of money with AI feet pics. So that's what sent me down this rabbit hole. I had to go look. I think you can do this pretty simply. A lot of the people in the groups aren't doing much other than creating an AI-generated female persona, basically either from the neck down or the waist down. And then recreating that over and over and over again using tools. So I actually have one. I'm going to show you one right here. So I built this one pretty quickly with Grok today. I actually used Grok for a bunch of these things today. Pretty good stuff. I mean, if you didn't zoom in, I think you'd be fine with this, I guess. Can you see yourself, catfishing the dudes with feet pics, John?
You have noticed, right, that one of those feet has 6 toes on it.
No shit. No, I did not notice that. I've looked at this photo 7 times today.
The right-hand foot has 6 toes on it, bro.
It's true. It does. Shit.
Yes, AI wins again.
Oh, boy.
I'm glad to see that in 2026 we still haven't progressed truly past the 6 fingers or 6 toes in AI.
I think there might be 6 on the left foot too. Now that I'm really looking at it hard, that's brutal.
Well, that one might be less obvious, but that right foot. Look, I don't know. Maybe this does something for the feet people. I'm not sure. Extra toe, anyone?
I went to a few of the sites today to look around. I would say a lot of them look AI at this point, and maybe they don't care. Like maybe the person behind the screen, they're thrilled with more variety. I'm not sure. Certainly, the person I know, they're not just taking a picture. They're like stomping on miniature figurines and like a bunch of weird. The feet people get weird, dude. The feet people get weird. So I had to throw the weirdest one up front.
Look, aside from the extra toe there, which was a bit of a giveaway, let's be real. I mean, those were pretty normal looking feet. Like those were nice looking feet, nice looking legs. You know what I mean? Like they looked real to me, aside from the toes. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're into that sort of thing, I would imagine it's hard to tell the difference.
My first thought with all of this was, how would you replicate it over and over again, right? How do you continue to get the same face? I think that's a challenge when using AI to regenerate. Some of the faces don't match. So I think this next one actually solved it. I don't know if this lady has a name. She does. Have you ever heard of Granny Spills?
No.
All right, so this is Granny Spills. And she does little bits where she gives advice as a grandma, but it's like, it's AI generated. It's 2 20-something-year-olds answering a way, a 20-something-year-old would find hilarious. Let me see if I can find the video. I'll put it on here.
What's your best dating advice?
It's better to give 20 guys chances than giving 20 chances to one guy. You're a player, not a fool.
What's your body count?
Honey, I lost count since 1975. I'm enjoying life, not collecting data.
What's your take on men who bring you flowers?
Flowers die, honey. My Chanel bags are forever. Know the difference.
What do you bring to the table?
The fuck do I look like? A waiter? Next question.
What's your philosophy on love versus money?
I think it's better to cry in a Lamborghini than cry in a Honda Civic. All men will disappoint you, so choose the richest one.
What's your best advice?
It's simple. Just follow Joey on the street.
How old was your husband when you married him?
I was 25 and he was 75. Thanks to him, I haven't had to work in 50 years.
Do you do personalized messages Just to people.
Joey, honey, my cameo is in my bio. Goofy ass question.
Who's more loyal, your man or your girl?
Listen, sweetie, I've been married 4 times and I still got my same bitches from 1960. That should tell you everything you need to know.
What do you think about gold diggers?
There's no such thing as a gold digger. All women are expensive, so pick one in your price range and shut the fuck up.
Somehow they have solved making this lady look relatively the same in every one of these photos. You can tell there's plenty of differences in there, but it's not hard to imagine why this got popular and why, that's going to hit your little dopamine circuits as you're swiping through TikTok. I kind of like this one. I like how they solved some of the problems of making sure that the person looks relatively the same on all of these. But I mean, this person's huge.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's AI though. Like, I mean, it's AI. Like the boat's wrong, right? Like it looks very consistent for sure. You're right. They're doing a good job, but like, you'd have to be an idiot to not know that's AI.
When do we cross? What do you call it? The Rubicon? When do we cross that where it's like, it first started with AI slop. I don't want to see AI slop. But eventually it's going to be like, yeah, of course it's AI. It's personalized to me. I think it's funny as hell. And I really like this. I assume that we're not far from that point either.
I guess at some point though, that opens up, a whole bunch of other kind of philosophical or existential kind of questions around how accepting are people going to end up being about AI created stuff, right? I don't think the case is closed that once AI is good enough, we're just all going to accept that it's the thing we all want. Like, I don't think that's necessarily, we've decided that at that point, or there's evidence to suggest that's the case yet. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. That's what I'd say at this point. So certainly the technology will get there where it's good enough that, you really can't tell the difference. Sure, of course it'll get there. How do people take that? Well, yeah, I mean, that'll be interesting to see for sure.
I think this is one case where you can see it's working, right? Like, the odds that you're going to find an old lady that'll say that stuff, nearly impossible, I would say. Maybe they exist.
No, like those are all things that a man would say that they've just put in an old lady's mouth.
Exactly, right? And so like this couldn't have existed without AI.
Well, unless you're paying a granny to say it. You could pay a granny to say it for sure.
Okay. All right, I wanted to get the weird stuff out of the way. Those two, feet pic was pretty weird. That was pretty weird. I'm going to go to a little more practical this time, right? So this is something I've actually created. I'm sure you've done this, John, right? You've looked up a restaurant or a product online. You've clicked the reviews tab to see if it's worth it. Do I want to go here? And you've inevitably stumbled on a 1-star review written by a Karen that made you laugh. I'm sure you have. We all have, right? And so I actually built this when I was bored one weekend. I'll share it with you quick. So I built this channel. It doesn't take much to spin up a YouTube channel. It's called only 1-star reviews. And my whole premise around this was this concept. So when I stumbled in this on YouTube, I was actually pretty surprised. So you don't have to go mining for 1-star reviews if you want to do this, right? There are websites galore, Reddit threads galore that have already done this work for you. I have a local radio station. My wife loves listening to it. And one of their bits is this exact thing. And there's zero chance they're going to look for a 1-star review. They're just using these websites that are out there and they're finding a funny one and they're saying it on air, right? So they're taking it from one place, creating it for a new audience, and it works well on the radio. I think you could do the exact same thing here. In fact, I've actually built one. So I found a 1-star review that says 1 star. They played mariachi music the entire time and had soccer on the TV in Spanish. This is America. And it was for a Mexican restaurant. So you can imagine this would be, perfect for that channel. I could spin up some mariachi music behind it. And this could be a 10-second short. I don't think it would be very hard to build an entire shorts channel out of this or any other idea where you're, using AI. Like I used AI to create this image. I'm sure if you look really hard, you could find 6 fingers on one of these guys playing the mariachi music. But this wasn't hard, and this took literally 30 seconds for me to do.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, you could animate the whole thing as well if you wanted to.
Sure.
Look, I could see that. Like people would engage with it for sure. I mean, there's tons of hilarious 1-star reviews out there.
No shortage of them.
No shortage of it whatsoever. I'm sure you could get good engagement with it on places like Instagram and stuff as well.
This one worked so fast. I think either making that move or putting music behind it is the next step I would need to do. But I think I could have that one up 5 minutes. Heck, we did a show on this, and I'd like to revisit it actually way back when with Casino King of like, what could you do for a daily short? This one isn't fitting some of that criteria of time bound and all that stuff. But, this is something you could post every single day. You could batch these out pretty easily for a month, right? If you spend a morning doing your whole month and put your whole month out and then spend a morning do the next month, and maybe you're replying to comments or something throughout the month, but honestly you could just throw this up and you'd probably know in a month or two whether it has any traction or not.
Do it.
I kind of want to do this one. I mean, there's a reason I spun it up on a weekend because I was bored. Yeah.
That's an easy one, right? Like you say. I mean, you're right. Once you've got your little system for creating your videos or your posts, I mean, you get somebody else to do it or just do it in a big batch and batch it out for each month and see what happens.
Yeah, now you're talking. Someone else doing it, but they have to have the right taste, right? Like some of the reviews aren't funny to me, but I guess it doesn't matter. When you have to find one every day, you have to find 365 this year. You're going to just take ones that are, not quite as funny as the last one, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you're also testing as well, right? Like you're going to start to see patterns in like, oh, well, like the racist reviews get the most interaction, or the ones where they're like just completely insane get the most reactions, or maybe it's something else, and you notice some patterns by posting a lot of different variations of those 1-star reviews, and then you can kind of, drill down on a particular angle, maybe, I don't know, or series of angles. Just to
tell you how much I dabble, I wanted to read the rest of the description, so I clicked it, and it says joined February 24th, 2025 is when I built this, screwing around on a weekend, and I've done nothing with it ever since, so got that going for me. Hold me accountable. We've had a few more people join our low bar community. If you want to hop in there, hang out with John and I put my Bitcoin PDF in there. John's going to put his parenting PDF in there. We have some other people who have been on the show or coming on the show who are going to hop in there as well. And hold me accountable on this one. Tell me to do this one. I'm happy to share the data. Certainly, I think you could, like you just said, hire somebody to, once the process is done, there's not a lot happening here, right? Put it in Grok until you have something you're happy with, add some music to it, get it up there. So hold me accountable. I'll do this one.
Hey, John here. I just wanted to take a quick moment to let you know about the Low Bar Pod membership. If you've been loving the show and you'd like to hang out with myself, Ben, and a whole bunch of other like-minded individuals, then the Low Bar Pod membership is for you. It's just $9 a month or $7 a month if you take the annual option, and here's what you're going to get. One, you can join our private community platform where all of our members hang out, where myself and Ben hang out. We chat with each other. We share all sorts of stuff, ideas, ask questions, get feedback. So you get access to that community. You get access to one live Ask Me Anything session each month of the year with myself and Ben. So we get on a call. It's hosted video call. It's live. You can ask questions. You can pre-submit questions and have them answered by us. Anything to do with business. And you get access to the recording and the transcripts of every Ask Me Anything session. You get direct chat access to myself and Ben in the community. So anytime you want to run an idea past us, have us check something, have us look at your business, whatever it might be, you can chat with us in there. You get direct and exclusive access to all of the Low Bar Pod challenges that we're either running, we have run, or we're going to run in the future. So our membership platform has a space in there for all of our challenges. For example, a 75 hard business challenge that we've talked on the podcast recently, that happens inside our membership, not outside of our membership. You get access to all of the podcast and Ask Me Anything transcripts for every episode. We post those within our membership area. So if you're somebody that wants to read what we talk about rather than watch videos or listen in, you can do that. And then finally, every Monday we send out our 3 Moves Monday newsletter. We only send this to our members, and in that newsletter every week you get 3 business ideas or strategies that you could implement into either starting a new business or growing an existing business. So it's just $9 a month. You can cancel at any time, and all you need to do to get in instantly is head to lowbarpod.com/join. You'll find a link to that below.
All right, next one. John, have you ever used Suno?
I think I played around with it a little bit.
So we both love music. I made a track on there. I wasn't even trying in the chorus. I genuinely, I think this might be a banger. I can't imagine what you could do if you actually tried. I kind of want to play this track. It's about 1 minute and 30 seconds long. If you don't mind, click the link on there, Jen, because you have the sound. If you don't like this chorus, I'll be shocked.
And a world where nothing matters anymore. I'm feeling numb, lost and alone. Beneath the surface, drowning in despair. Can't escape the darkness, it's everywhere. All the pain and all the weight I bear, tearing me apart, it's just not fair. Fading slowly, slipping away, a tortured soul trapped in this place. I'm fading to gray,
Dude, that's killer. That's a banger right there. Am I wrong?
Look, it certainly fits in the Avril Lavigne kind of box I can remember from the late 90s. Sure, not my cup of tea, but I think I used to make fun of those kids at high school, but, you know, whatever.
I think that's a banger. I think I wrote that when it first came out. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you as well. And just like ChatGPT is writing the lyrics, I'm pretty sure in the back end. I asked it to write a song about a teenage overdose, and it kind of wrote it almost completely opposite of what a teenage overdose is. Like not actually overdosing on drugs, but overdosing on teenage emotions, which I thought was kind of cool. And then, you know, if I remember correctly, I said like mix Nirvana with something. I don't remember who I said to mix it with, but like it's not hard. It's one prompt and you can make any song that you want to on here. And now people are connecting this with DistroKid, which allows you to put your tunes out on, you know, Spotify, on the big channels, things like that. I know Spotify's swatting some of the AI music, but look, anyone who's into music at all, you don't have to have the talent to play guitar. You can just make a song that you like. If you can describe it well enough, it's going to spit out something that's somewhat decent. This is kind of what I meant earlier of like, when do we stop caring? Because I'm not into the same music as you. Certainly, you know, we've got our employee out here, him and my brother, they listen to some stuff that I could never get into, like folky type music. And like, if you could have whatever you want, just more of it made for you, that sounds awesome to me, right? If you could, there's a very specific type of metal I like that's, you know, kind of genty, but there's not a lot of bands out there that satisfy what I want. If I can make more of that for myself, I'm absolutely going to do that. And I care very little about lyrics, if I'm honest. I care way more about the music. So I would probably make it without lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a particular person where that's going to appeal to them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Once again, it goes back to that question of like, why do you, like, what are the things that you like about music or art or like whatever in the first place? Like if you're somebody that likes seeing live music, I doubt you're the sort of person that's going to start listening to stuff that you know is just made by a machine, right? Like you're not going to go and see that live, at least not until there's robot bands, like which do exist actually already.
Chuck E. Cheese, man.
You know, so I don't know. I think to me there's something a little less appealing about it. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Well, you're the only one who feels that way, because the next one that I put in that document there was literally the number one song in the world. It was called Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust. It is completely AI. I put a little link in there if you want to take a little sample of it. But it was the number one song in the world.
Yeah, well, I can answer this one straight away. It's a country song. And that is 100% a comment on people who listen to country music, which already all sounds the fucking same. I fucking hate country music. Jesus Christ, it's terrible. Everybody's got the same fucking accent. Oh, God, it's horrible. It's like, somebody distill the worst of America and put it in a music genre. Country music, you've got it. I'm not surprised by that at all.
Give me some Chris Stapleton. Give me some Florida Georgia Line. Growing up, my mom only had 2 cassettes. It was a Wide Open Spaces album by the Dixie Chicks and Shania Twain. Whatever the album is, whose bed have your boots been? That one. Like, so I've had country inside me for a long. And Garth Brooks, one of the greatest ever to live. Man, come on.
The worst shit ever.
All right, shout out Luke Combs too. I'm a big Luke Combs fan. Look, I like country. This song got huge, but so even if you're not making it for you and I to listen to in our Apple Music, right, or the world to listen to, you can make any music at this point, right? And so this kind of leans into, there's a bit of a Fiverr aspect here, right? Like you can sell custom jingles on Fiverr. You could make custom birthday songs, anniversary songs. Background tracks are definitely a thing that the internet needs, right, in order to play music behind whatever they're doing. And so if you're, creating custom background tracks for things, there's probably endless ways that you could do this. Those were just a few that I came up with. Most nights, my brain won't shut off. I'm lying there chasing new ideas, diving down rabbit holes, thinking through business problems, all of it. I can't turn it off, and honestly, I don't even want to. I fucking love this stuff. But I do need solid sleep if I'm going to show up as the best version of myself for my wife, for my kids, for my business partners, and for me. So every night I take Kill Switch from Switch Supplements. I've been taking it for years. I take a scoop, I watch a quick YouTube video, and within a half an hour, I'm out. It works every single time. My wife takes it. My employee takes it. We even gave it out at a couple of our live events and everyone loved it. If you're the same way, you can't turn it off, but you still want to win big the next day, go to switchsupplements.com/lowbar and use the code lowbar to get $10 off your first order. That's switchsupplements.com/lowbar and use the code lowbar. Sleep like you're dead. So right along this music vein, John, I'll go to the next one, right? My old business partner, Leanna, she wanted to like co-work together. I can't remember what she called it, where we'd get on a Zoom call and then we would play some music. We're not talking to each other. We're just on the call together so we know we're both working. I can't remember what that's called, but it's definitely a thing. The whole time you're playing music in the background, right? And so while doing this music research, I stumbled on that too. People are calling it, faceless YouTube channels. The example I put in our document here is simply dark funk for locked in work sessions is what it's called. So I'm not going to play any of this, but it is literally 1 hour thing that you can just play on repeat to help you zone in while you're working. There's quite a bit of this stuff on YouTube. And again, it's all made with Suno. It's all made with, something similar to Suno. Lo-fi beats, motivational type focus stuff, like 24/7 live streams you just let run on YouTube with this stuff going. To me, I think some of the ideas I have here are probably barely scratching the surface of what you could do with the fact that anyone can create music now.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose certainly, some of those things fit better, like the sleep music, lo-fi beats, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you had mentioned, hey, if I can't go see him on stage, I don't want to listen to this stuff. But I don't think that's going to be the only use case, which is, hitting what you want to jam out to or what you enjoy listening to on a walk or a run. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity to replace music as we know it everywhere, music as we know it exists. And then there's still going to be this big yearning for real music, right? I think it's a lot of people, when researching this, seemed like they were worried that AI music was going to, ruin the music industry. I think it'll actually make it even better, right? Like people are still going to be able to get this, but they're going to be drawn to real artists more than ever, in my opinion. I don't think this takes market share away from real people. All right, next example. We've talked about KDP books, right? We've had Carla on the show. She's writing romance novels using AI and putting them up on KDP. And I asked my wife the other day, has she ever seen children's books made with AI? She said she has. She's like, I wish the images weren't quite so AI, but I stumbled onto this while doing the research. This book is called Alice and Sparkle. And right in here, it says, Alice and Sparkle is a children's story at heart that hopes to inspire children, encourage curiosity and learning in one of the most technologically exciting moments in our lifetime. This book was co-created using AI tools to both aid in the writing and illustration, and is the first of its kind to do so. I don't know whether that's a real claim or not, but this book's made with AI. The stars aren't showing it much love here, but there is, and they're literally citing ChatGPT as an author here and Midjourney as an illustrator, which is very interesting to me. I would assume this market gets very overloaded very quickly with the fact that you can push this stuff out. But I think you, as the super dad that you are, could probably come up with 100 topics right now that would be like 100 tiny little lessons that you want to impart on your children, and your ability to take that, turn it into a child story, put illustrations in there, and have it done in the next 30 minutes. That's very intriguing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the illustration, but I suppose maybe if you had a particular style, like the illustration on the cover of that book looks shit, in my opinion. I fucking wouldn't buy that at all. Well, once again, I don't want to get the fuck are we getting our parenting advice from ChatGPT for? Like, where do we go as a race if that's the case? Like, we go to the bottom. We're already getting it close to there. Like, I don't know. I'm out on this one. I have zero interest.
I got to be honest, I'm shocked by that one.
I think this is a fucking stupid idea. Like, what's the point? Like, what's wrong with people writing books? Like, who's the dumb fuck that's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go and spend money on a book made on ChatGPT? Why wouldn't you just fucking make it yourself? Why would you be buying books at that point? Like, if I can spin it up in half an hour, why wouldn't I just go and make it myself? Why would I buy it?
I actually, I thought you'd be into this one. I thought you'd be into it, given that, like you just said, who goes to ChatGPT for parenting advice? I go to you for parenting advice quite often, right? And when we did the PDF thing, you were, I don't want to call it super dad, but you were writing books around, how to be a better dad. I feel like you have a lot of lessons and knowledge inside of you that the world would benefit from. And if you were able to extract that into a form to children, without putting, stress on yourself to write all of these things, I actually thought this would be right up your alley. I'm surprised.
Well, like maybe let's assume I genuinely did have some knowledge or experience or whatever that was good. But the problem is if we're talking about this as like a business model on this show, then what that turns into is every fucking 25-year-old fuckwit who doesn't have kids just using it to put out information about parenting, which just means all the information about parenting is basically mediocre, because that's all that AI puts out at the moment is mediocre answers to fucking everything. And parents read that and go, oh yeah, that's a great idea, blah, blah, blah. And so we just become a race of college kids. Great. Can't wait for that world. And then that next generation of kids are going to be a bunch of fucking retards. Like, fuck. Bring it on. AI lifting us all up here. Woo! The party started.
I got bad news for you, John. I don't think you're going to like the rest of these either, but we'll keep going. We'll keep going here. All right. So the next one, you and I used to, I certainly did. Maybe you didn't recommend, but you used to recommend a guy named Irish Guy 1 on Fiverr. He would make the voicemails for every store that I ever ran. I don't know if you recommended him to students back in the day. Certainly I recommended to people I was coaching. And it was simply, a nice sounding voice saying, "Thanks so much for calling benstore.com. All representatives are currently busy helping other members." You pay $10, 15, 20, $30 and get a voicemail for your e-commerce store. You can do that pretty easily using 11 Labs or many of the other systems out there now to recreate this. And so, people who are sitting there saying, "I literally can't do anything," you can do this. You can use the free credits that you're allowed, set up a gig on Fiverr and wait for a job to come in that you can do an AI voiceover for, put it in there, choose the voice that's going to make the most sense and fulfill an order on Fiverr.
Yeah, you could do that.
It's funny when Claude outlined this, it says, "Sell it as a service on Fiverr, undercut the real voice actors." I don't think that's the angle I would take. I'm not a cheap guy, but I think you could pretty easily do voiceovers. You could do, back to the music. You could do special birthday songs or birthday renditions. Fiverr's got some weird stuff on there. We've been there on other episodes, but this one seems like a pretty simple thing. I don't know if you don't frame it as a business. This is something I'm going to grow and scale, but as a way to hustle, I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Hey, John here for just a sec. You know how we're always breaking down these wild business ideas and road testing opportunities that other podcasts won't touch? Well, we're growing our own business here. This podcast, and we need your help. So here's the deal. If the Low Bar podcast has given you that holy shit I can actually do this moment, or just made your commute less boring, help us out. If you're watching on YouTube, go and hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Spotify, go to our profile page on Spotify and smash that 5-star button. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, hit the review button and leave us a review. It takes you just 30 seconds, costs you nothing, but helps us reach more people who think starting a business is rocket science, which it's not. And it will also give us the momentum we need to do even more fun and crazy business stuff right here for your entertainment. We love to keep it real with you. Now keep it real with us. Let's grow this thing together.
All right. I used to own an adult coloring book business, so this one feels like a no-brainer to me. I wish AI was around when we created these things. You can create anything you want and turn it into a coloring book page at this point. So we actually take our, those cheesy family photos that you take every year. I've actually taken those, put it into an LLM, had spit out an adult coloring book page, and our daughter really loves to color those in. So she'll color it in, then we'll put it up in a frame in the house. She does a really cool job with them as well. But I think you could create unlimited drawings on whatever you wanted to do. Let me show you. I made a couple of them in Grok earlier today, actually. So I said, make me a coloring page of a golden retriever puppy sitting in a garden, black line art on, white background, clean outlines, no shading, suitable for kids, and it spit this out, right? And this took me 15 seconds and a decent prompt. And back in the day when we were creating these coloring books, we had to work with people all around the world to make designs for us. And this would make it like instant for us to be able to bring out books on lots of topics. So I think we had 9 books in total when we sold that business. And this would allow us to just sprint much, much faster. So I had to make this golden retriever, had to make some elephants here. And I'm not sure if the legs got a little messed up on that one, but decent enough certainly for you to put into a coloring book, put on Etsy. You don't need to have it printed and put on Amazon. You could put these on Etsy. People could print themselves on cardstock. They could color them. What do you think of this one, John?
Yeah, once again, certainly a good use case of AI. It's pretty. I guess the challenge becomes, probably finding unique ways to do it, right? Because once again, if it becomes anytime something becomes super easy to produce, it just becomes instantly commoditized, and you're not selling anything in a market with 10,000 other people selling pictures of golden retrievers to color in or something, right? So I think you would still have to do a little bit of work to try and come up with some cool concepts that people might find interesting or don't currently exist in the market, or maybe some niches that aren't currently being served, for people that like coloring particular things, potentially. But yeah, that's obviously would be a very easy thing to create.
I worry about what you just said on all of these. Like the opportunity is now, and the opportunity is not going to be there forever, right? There's just because it's so easy, because there is no barrier to entry, these are going to get saturated quickly. And so to your point, if you're just going to make a flower book or a mandala book, you probably, you're not going to do so well, right? But if you can find some super niche, like you said, or something that's not done yet, or an art style that's not done yet, brought to these adult coloring pages, that's probably the only way you're going to be able to set yourself apart in a few months.
Well, I mean, at some point, people just don't buy this anymore. Like, once again, it goes back to the point of, like, yes, today, not everybody is using AI for everything, and there's a ton of people out there who aren't using it for anything, if I'm real. I mean, the AI companies, I think, grossly oversell how many people are actually really using this to do anything. But at some point, it gets so easy that if I'm like, oh, I want a new coloring book, I'll just fucking spin my own up. Like, why would I even go anywhere and buy it at that point?
Yeah, I wonder when that part hits too, right? Where people realize they can do all this stuff. Because right now, some of this stuff feels like magic. When I call my dad every Monday, we FaceTime my dad and my stepmom, and I'll tell him some stuff that we talked about on our pod or things that we're doing. His eyes will roll back in his head, right? He's only in his late 60s, and he's just like, what? How do you do all that? And so, like, when does that change where people realize they can? I tell them to talk to it all the time. Go experiment with this stuff. And I don't know if enough people are yet, but that's going to happen.
Yeah, and it'll happen in some markets sooner than others as well. It's not all going to happen at the same time. Like, markets that primarily serve a younger demographic are obviously going to be the first where it happens, right? Because that younger demographic is going to be more used to these type of tools and be more experimental in their usage as well, and just take any idea they have in their head and see if they can create it themselves. Do you know what I mean? And so maybe for older demographics, it's going to take a bit longer for that to kind of trickle down.
Well, you're an art guy, so help me with this next one, because I don't know what abstract. I'm not sure I know what any of those words mean, but I know you do. Have you ever bought something online? So this is specifically like an AI digital print that you would print on canvas back home and hang on your wall. Is that something you've even considered, or like I don't understand this market at all, if I'm honest.
I mean, as far as this goes, like AI wall art prints, right? I mean, this doesn't really, to me, add anything to the market, right? Like, you could already go out and buy something that's been created by a human in Photoshop. Yeah, it's art, but it's not like art in the sense of a hand-painted original artwork that's one of a kind. Like, there is already a massive market for mass-produced wall prints. I mean, it's been around forever. They're not expensive. They're cheap, right? And yes, you're often, if you're looking for like a larger size and all that sort of thing, like getting it printed on a 2-meter wide piece of paper for a big piece on your wall. Like, you can't just go out and do that yourself because you need access to the printing, right, to get it done. And so I suppose there would be a market for AI created, art wall prints, but that's already a really saturated market. Like, there's tons of, like, you could go online and there's websites that just have like thousands of designs that you can already just print out for like very little money. If you wanted to, put it in a frame, put it on your wall. This is a space where I see AI not really getting into as much as soon. Like, people who like pay for expensive art, you know what I mean? Like, they're specifically buying it because it was created by a human and it's one of a kind, and that's what the value is in, right? So there's never I don't think there's gonna be, at least not soon, like, oh, here's a painting that was created by AI, now pay us $10,000 for it. I don't think that ever exists. Maybe people stop paying for original art at some point, but it's kind of like, I just don't see that yet.
Well, this is what it created when I said minimalist abstract wall art, soft beige and sage green, organic shapes, clean composition, neutral color palette, modern interior decor style, high resolution, printable art. So it's creating this for you to, go to Walgreens or wherever and print the canvas print. Here's another one as well. And, again, I could see these on a house that's being shown. I could see those, generic type things on a wall there. To your point, I don't think, you're not making exclusive one-of-ones that somebody's buying on Etsy and throwing up in their house. No,
like, totally. I mean, there's a market for this stuff, like in corporate offices and like all sorts of places, businesses all over the world. There's like, just mass-produced prints on the walls, and that exists for sure. Once again, it's a question of like, if you wanted to use AI to create those and then sell them, how do you get yourself to the front of that pack? Because it already exists. Like, there's already a shitload of it. Like, there's so much of it out there already pre-AI that it would be a very competitive market to reach any kind of decent numbers in, I would think. But I don't know. I've never tried to sell that sort of stuff before, so maybe maybe there's some platforms or methods you could use to sell it. I don't know.
Well, the other thing it recommended here, and I know you're into this stuff as well, is stickers. So I'm not sure what you'd put on the stickers, but it's saying you could generate designs, print on demand, fulfillment, generate once, sell forever. And so, just trying to revolve around the ability to make, quote unquote art quickly or designs quickly that you can put up there. I can see it working, I guess. I'm not a sticker guy at all. I don't really understand stickers. So is that more you slightly ripping off someone else's style, and that's how you're listing them on Etsy? I'm not sure where you'd get traction there, but it recommended stickers. It also recommended ebooks. So we talked about this on a recent show, right? I told you the Ninja Creamy ebook. So rather than sell them running ads to them, as we talked about in that episode, throw them up on Etsy, right? So make it niche specific, like high protein recipes or PCOS friendly or toddler meals. Simply generate the recipes with AI, format in Canva, sell it as a PDF. I think Etsy honestly probably deserves its own show on here of the Etsy gold mine that we could go down. I know it's been thrown in a bunch of episodes that we've done, from reindeer poo on the Santa episode to all sorts of stuff. So interesting what you can sell on Etsy. I've just never been someone who's been on Etsy before. So every time I go down one of these rabbit holes, I feel like we should give Etsy a full show.
Yeah, should maybe get somebody that actually uses it on. I've never sold anything on Etsy, so I don't know what the ins and outs of it are.
Well, I'll give you a couple more examples on the Etsy side. So another one was selling phone wallpapers on Etsy. So custom phone wallpapers rather, and you kind of bundle them up, right? So 15 HD backgrounds for like $3 or something. So this one, make me a vertical wallpaper, dark academia aesthetic, old library with wooden shelves, leather-bound books, warm candlelight, moody and cozy atmosphere, rich browns and deep greens, and it created this. I could see that on the back of on a background of a phone. Do I want to spend time creating 15 to 20 of these and selling them for $3? That doesn't sound like what I want to be doing personally, but feasible for sure.
Yep, definitely. I mean, anyone could do that.
And the only other thing I saw from AI that I wanted to make sure I mentioned in here was I stumbled on a website called hellocustom.io. So it's an AI tool that automates personalized products. Imagine you're selling mugs that say like world's best blank, right? You've probably seen world's best boss or something like that, world's best mom. What if you gave them an opportunity to put what they want in there? And so this is hellocustom.io is giving you the ability to make custom print on demand products. And so I'm sure your brain could run wild here on different ones. The one I thought of was, Game of Thrones fans are probably familiar with the term "a Lannister always pays their debts." And I could imagine a t-shirt that says, blank always pays their debts, and you can put your last name in there. And Game of Thrones fans are going to think it's, amazing for them to be able to have a customized shirt that says, "a Warren always pays their debts," or a BK always pays his debts, or something like that. So that's one example I came up with. I think that the ability to print on demand and stick in the customizable stuff through utilizing hellocustom.io, to me seemed like the best one on this list. I didn't mean to save it for last, but here we are. This is probably the one I would go with. I think if you can avoid ripping trademarks off from a show, right, or copyright material, but finding a way around that, I think there's been really big businesses built around this. Print on demand on Amazon is full of stuff like this, and so I think if you did a little bit of research, you could probably do quite well here. And it's every time you can come up with something clever, you just put it up. Like there's no barrier to entry here. You're not buying anything. You're not doing anything other than creating the design, using hellocustom.io to place it likely on Etsy, where they can customize it and make the purchase from you.
So is that where you're selling it, on Etsy, or are you putting it elsewhere?
Yeah, I would assume you can connect this to your own Shopify store too as well. But again, most people don't have any traffic. And so I believe the founders of this, it says they sold over 210,000 personalized products on Etsy before building this. So I would assume they connected it to Etsy in the back end.
Yeah, cool. I haven't seen this one before.
All right, if I made you pick one of these, you kind of shit on a bunch of them here. Is there any one of them that was like, all right, I'll fuck with this one?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the coloring book one. That would be, like, once again, if I could think of like a decent underserved angle for that, I think that would be a good one. That's probably about the best I could come up with.
All right. I like the 1-star review one, and I'm going to throw a few up. I just want to see what happens. So again, come join us in the Low Bar Pod community. You can find the link down below. I'll do a couple of these. I'll share the data from you too. I'm genuinely curious if these have legs or don't have legs, and if there's one of these that you thought was something you would do, or a different way you're seeing AI being used. I want to hear about it for sure.